Are live. Welcome back, everyone, to Nerdsters of the Universe. I'm Kerwin.
I'm Pizza.
A lot of stuff happened this week. Yesterday was First Contact Day.
Yeah. Oops, wrong one.
Were you able to watch those panels and everything?
Which ones?
The ones that Paramount was doing.
I watched a couple. I started watching them, and they turn out. I'm not a big panel guy. I'll watch certain things, but then when they start getting, they're not really telling you anything. They're kind of just teasing. So I didn't really. I was kind of watching that while I was doing other stuff.
It said it'd be available on Paramount Plus after the fact, and I haven't been able to find them on there. See, I like watching them. I like watching the teases.
Yeah.
You know, it also leads for some fun guessing as well. Like when I know today we're going to be talking about Star Trek, but like when Star Wars Episode 7 came out and they were doing panels, and Daisy Ridley turned around and was, almost like practically said Luke was going to be her character's father, but then it turns around and wasn't.
Right.
Those little things, but they're all staged. Like Avengers panels, those are always.
Yeah.
But no, man, teasers. We got some teaser trailers, didn't we?
Oh, we got a few teasers this week. I was bent in half on a couple of them, but I couldn't wait. I saw the ad that says Lower Decks is coming back this August. The cartoon. I liked Lower Decks. I giggled through the whole thing. It was really light. It was funny. It had the adult feel to it. But it was still Star Trek to me.
Deborah, Yvonne, hello.
Hey, Deborah. And I just I watched the Discovery, the next season for Discovery trailer, and I've read a lot of interviews and I've seen a couple panels on that. And the biggest thing I noticed is they changed the freaking uniforms again. They changed them again.
All right, we say again because yes, they changed them in the last season. However, that was a huge gap from Discovery's uniforms to the future uniforms.
I was expecting that. I was expecting that change.
And it isn't that big of a change. It's just an inversion of colors.
Yeah, instead of
the same style, but instead of
with a different color on.
Instead of it being a color stripe with a gray uniform, they went with the classic.
Yeah, the colors with the black stripe down them.
You're just upset because you're going to have to make another uniform.
Yeah, I've already made 3. I made 3 of them gray ones with the stripes. Now I got to start making them different again.
You never know.
I know I read. What's that?
It could be a couple things. One, what I think most commonly, what it's mainly going to be is there's going to be another little time jump. It's going to be a little bit different a little bit of time between where season 3 left off and where we're at. Because obviously they're bringing Saru back. He was in the trailer, so I'm going to say that there's been enough time for Saru to get somewhat of a, fulfillment of being back on his home planet, as well as the other situations. So it could just be that there's a time jump, and due to the Federation building back up, from what it was, they felt it was time for a change. All this new stuff happening, they're building back up, a new face of the Federation, a new uniform for the Federation, and who knows how long they had those uniforms beforehand.
I'm thinking if anything, maybe a year or two, not a drastic time jump, but maybe a year or two to go through. I'm waiting to see Tilly as the XO, like Commander Tilly.
Yeah.
Or something. I love Tilly. Tilly's my girl.
That leads me to something else, but real quick, the other thought I had on the uniform change is maybe it's not a complete uniform change. I don't subscribe to this one as much. but it could be a mission uniform. Like, just like in other Trek episodes and movies we've seen, First Contact with an alien species has a different type of dress uniform. And it could be that situation. We don't get a lot from the teaser. The teaser, honestly, to me, looks more of a movie trailer teaser than it does a season teaser.
Well, from what I've read so far, it's not supposed to be an actual villain. It's more like an entity they're fighting, something like that, which is pretty good. I have to say, the Picard trailer that I saw really blew me. My head was with that.
Yeah, we're still on Discovery right now. Let's not move on to Picard yet. The other thing I wanted to say that got me,
all right,
and I watched it a couple times. They state Commander Burnham. At the end of season 3, she was promoted to captain.
I heard him say Captain Burnham. They say Captain Burnham, you're in charge, Captain Burnham, on the trailer.
See, I thought they said Commander Burnham.
No, they said Captain.
It was Captain. I could have swore I heard her say something like, Commander Burnham, you need to understand you are in charge of this, or something like that. I don't know. I'll have to watch it third or fourth or fifth time or wherever I'm at. All right. Well, I'm wrong. But no, I like the idea of them going to an event situation. It looks like they've been doing missions. It looks like they are out exploring. Especially when you have the way that season 3 ended with them having a list of to-dos.
Yeah.
We got this to do, that to do. And then going, it doesn't look like they're out looking for something. It looks looking for that situation. It looks like they get caught up in it.
Yeah.
So that leads the next question. What are they destroying in season 4?
I have no idea.
This anomaly is 5 light years in length or width or whatever. And it's going through something. What is going to get destroyed? What are we going to lose in season 4?
I know they said something about writing off the Klingons. So I read an article about writing off the Klingons now. But I don't know if it's going to have something to do with that. But I was just sitting there and it briefly came into my head, geez, what if V'ger came back? 32nd century V'ger.
Oh, good Lord.
Let's see how many people's head explode on that.
I don't think that'd be so much of an explosion, but more of an anger.
Yeah.
Please don't bring V'ger back. Come on.
Hey, they almost had the uniforms for it from the last season.
And my thing is we haven't seen Klingons in this century yet.
No.
Per se. We just saw the big bad get defeated in season 3. I don't know. We need a new antagonist, but one that is more of a species style, because that's when Trek thrives. Their episodic Trek was decent. Episodic antagonists are decent, like Space Seed with Khan and the Gorn and so on. But original Trek thrived when you had an episode about the Romulans or an episode about the Klingons. And Next Generation.
Yeah, as long as there was some.
Yeah,
that's what they said, because it's more like most Trek is you have an actual physical villain, and this is supposed to be more of an entity idea type thing they're fighting, and because that was the big question: how do you fight an entity or idea? So I don't know what they're going to do with that. It almost kind of reminds me of the last season 2 with the Section 33, the computer.
Yeah, and see that, and I'm gonna enjoy it.
I just don't want to see it get repetitive. You know what I mean?
And that's what I'm worried about. Like I want, like I said, Trek thrives when there's a, I don't want to say warring race, but there's an antagonistic race. Next Generation, you had the Borg, as well as
the Romulans, the Ferengi,
the Romulans, the Ferengi, but the other one, the Cardassians.
Yeah, and the Breen and the Dominion.
Well, the Dominion was a really good one for DS9.
Yeah.
It was having those, being able to break away from the bigger picture and have some stuff go, but then have this bigger picture that you wouldn't really know what's going on. And the thing I worry about having this giant entity that's 5 light years wide being the main antagonist for the entire season, to me, it's no longer going to be a Star Trek TV series. It's going to be more like Picard was, and we're going to get a Star Trek mini series. It's going to be like they wanted to make a Discovery movie, but they knew it wouldn't hit, so they made it into season 4. And I partly worry about that because that's one of the issues people had. One of the issues people had with previous Discovery seasons was it was too linear. It was too much to the point, episode after episode after episode, in that sense.
Yeah, that was the whole thing. They were always all of Star Trek right now, except for Lower Decks, the cartoons, have been an entire season-long story arc. It was, and that's what gets me, because that's what people complained about with Enterprise season 3. They said that's what destroyed it, an entire season-long story arc. And they even had in Enterprise, they had little episodes thrown in there of things, but everybody's like, oh, you can't do a whole season-long story arc. Well, gee, let me see. Discovery, season 1, 2, and 3, Picard, they said Strange New Worlds is going to be closer to original Trek with beaming down and first contacts and, villains and things like that, which I can't wait to see how that goes.
I'm stoked for Strange New Worlds, but I want future Trek. Strange New Worlds isn't future Trek. Strange New Worlds is past Trek. I mean, it's
I'm prequeled out. Yeah, I'm prequeled out. I mean, it's got a good cast and looks like it's going to be good. But I was dying to see 32nd Century. They have a whole clean slate. Let's see what they do with it. You know what I mean?
And they're like, oh, let's make a episode. Let's do movies in episodic form. I don't know. It's not out yet.
Right. We can speculate all day long, but
we get season 4 of Discovery before we get season 2 of Picard. But
yeah, I know. I saw Picard. I can't wait to see what they're going to do with that, because the trailer was just when you just saw the cue at the when the card disappeared and then you heard his voice. I thought, oh yeah, let's see what we're going to do.
The trial never ends.
John Delancey.
Oh man, I got goosebumps when that happened. At first, I was watching. I'm like, is this a teaser for the first season or what? And then you see that little card of the Queen. Just, dusts away. Which there's going to be something there with the way it dusts it away too. I think that's a teaser as well.
Maybe because I'm still trying to see how they're going to spoilers if you haven't seen Picard season 1. What they're going to do with that now that he's the way he is.
He is, but at the same time, he's still designed to only have so many years left. He's not.
Yeah, he wasn't enhanced in any way, but
the
fact that could always change, I'm sure. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They always manage to throw that in the Next Generation with Data.
Well, I still have a sour taste in my mouth from the way they handled Data, but
I thought it was pretty good. I mean,
it was pretty good. It brought tears to my eyes, made me cry like a little baby, but at the same time,
they got rid of Data. It's like,
well, it was like Picard got that situation, but it's like he couldn't look at the guy and go, make another one of these.
Yeah.
Exactly. Make it just like this. And then at that point, Data would have gotten exactly what he wanted. To me, Data got somewhat what he wanted, but to be able to legitimately grow old with his friends, that would have given that to him.
I just
That would
think
have
it
given
was.
him that experience.
I just think it was like he was already tired of it. He was done, and he was ready to go. So they just kind of brought it up. I think Brent Spiner is tired of
that's why he killed the character in Nemesis. I mean, that was all Spiner.
Yeah. And then they brought him back for Picard.
Yeah.
They found a way.
Like, dang it.
He's like, crap, more of this. But
I just want to see Will Wheaton actually get a spot in Picard.
I do too. I want to see what, like, Captain Crusher or something,
I mean, they let him do that little after show he does.
Yeah.
They've got him on that, but it's like, ouch. It's like, hey man, why don't you do the after show? You get to interview the makers of the show and stuff like that and talk about what it was like to be on Star Trek, but you're not in this. Sorry.
Yeah, I kind of thought they shafted him a little bit with that. It's like, here, let's interview all your former castmates that are still having fun. You do this.
Like the last time we get to see you, you're cheersing at Riker's wedding, and that's it. Now you get to talk about the show.
Yeah. That I think he kind of got ripped off because I liked Wesley. I don't care, everybody with the shut up Wesley and all that stuff. Especially on Big Bang Theory, the way he used to joke around and stuff with that. I love that.
Well, I mean, it's Will Wheaton. I mean, it's what you expect from a child actor. You grow up in a certain genre. You're wanting to break out and do other things. Your mind takes you to that place where you're like, ah, and then after you mature and you look back, you go, dang, I actually had it pretty decent.
Yeah, I was having fun.
Like,
that's what I liked on Big Bang Theory when he's like, but you're not doing this. And Will Wheaton goes, hey, I wasn't on a real spaceship, but for 7 years, being on a pretend one paid for this house. If we would have went a little longer, I could have had a pool.
What, you didn't get a pool from Nemesis?
I don't know. I guess not, but it was just the way it was written in Big Bang. It was funny.
And that was a pretty cool cameo for him too. I mean, it was a blink and you'll miss it type thing, but to actually bring him back for Nemesis was pretty cool.
Yeah, in the wedding party, just sitting back at the wedding party. I liked it. And for those nerds watching today, I know we're Tuesday. Today's the 6th, but for yesterday, happy First Contact Day, belated.
Your First Contact Day, which is by far my favorite Star Trek movie overall.
I had to watch it yesterday. I watched it over and over.
I'm sorry for all you Wrath of Khan people going, no, it's Wrath of Khan. Nope, First Contact to me is the best Star Trek movie they've made thus far.
I like it. I just think they started to overdo the Borg a little bit.
Oh, see, that's one of the biggest things I love about it.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I just think all the episodes started to over. The only one that never really overdid the Borg was Deep Space Nine. But I think they just, with the movies, and then all of a sudden, the Romulans were everywhere in everything. And then I was like, all right, Because, Nemesis, and then all of a sudden, right into Picard, they're with the Romulans again. JJ verse, Romulans. I was waiting to see something to do with that.
The thing is, though, too, and I understand. I get you. That's why I was stoked for season 4 of Discovery with them in an area where they can. They're in an area they have no clue as to how it is.
Right.
They're exploring. That's why I was stoked for that because we have been playing. I mean, it's been going on for 50, 60 years of Trek.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the Klingons we got a closure to. We did. We practically got a closure to the Klingons, an undiscovered country, when they signed the treaty.
Yeah.
And then having
war. They were
and then everything that happened in Deep Space Nine with the Klingons. So we got to a point where the Klingons, as a race in the Trek universe, got closure and peace.
Mm-hmm.
The Romulans never really got that. They were the original Trek, big bad, lingering in the background.
Yeah.
And then when we get to Next Generation, it's turned into more of a Cold War situation. Yeah. And then when we get to Deep Space Nine, it's sort of well, we'll put aside our differences a little bit to fight the Dominion, but we never got that finishing closure to it. And that's what I enjoyed about Nemesis was, you had Generations, which was an event situation.
Right.
You had a villain, you had the Dural sisters, but it was still a Star Trek movie to stop a strange event that was causing chaos.
Right.
Then when we get First Contact, we get that deep mind psychosis of the Enterprise crew and where the different adventures they went on throughout their mission has brought them, and the Borg being who the Borg are. That's one thing I loved about that. Then we get what was the name of that one? Wow. I just lost 9 points.
Which one? What about?
9, Star Trek 9, Insurrection. Then we get Insurrection, which is more of a theoretical idea. It's, are we doing the right thing? Are we doing the wrong thing? The bad guy is more of a, they speak of the Dominion War, stuff like that. We still, all the way up to that point, even all the way through Voyager, we never got what happened with the Romulans. What happened with Spock on Romulus? You know what I'm saying?
Well, we got all that with the JG verse and Picard because we knew Romulus exploded.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about before Nemesis came out.
Okay.
Before we got Nemesis.
You would just get the whole reunification thing, and they went around with that a little bit, but they never really touched anything else. And then the supernova and Romulus exploding. Now you have Romulan refugees, but apparently in Picard they still have a big fleet, obviously, and there's still a Romulan. It's back to kind of more of the Cold War situation. Spies in Starfleet and all that stuff, but
I don't think it's so. There's going to be different sects. It's just like Starfleet's going to have their Section 31. What I was saying though is that's one thing I loved about Nemesis being about the Romulans and sort of closing that Romulan gap. It was sort of the undiscovered version of the Next Generation where the Romulans get to close their gap. It's no longer of what happened to that warring species that we had to have a neutral zone for and everything.
Yeah.
And then of course, JJ's Star Trek Into Darkness and Beyond were a continuation of his Star Trek, but I don't ever look at JJ's Star Trek as its own universe situation. To me, that is a Spock sequel. It is to close the story on what happens to Spock.
Yeah.
Because the last we see Spock in our main universe is he's on Romulus trying to bridge the gap. And then we have the situation going on in Nemesis with, Remus and majority of Romulus politicians being killed. Well, where's Spock, And then to be able to get a continuation of what happens to Spock through JJ's movie, to me, that makes it that made it a good Star Trek sequel to me. And then we get a continuation of that universe, which was cool. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, they had the Romulan Riemann thing back and forth. Plus, they had Picard supposedly fighting his demons with Shinzon.
Mm-hmm.
And it went back and forth. And yes, Crashly, Romulans are one of the villains in Star Trek. They're a race in Star Trek. So yes. Now that Crashly has joined us, your lovely wife.
Yes. She has joined us from the other.
Deborah.
I nerditized her office.
Uh-oh.
I ran out to the garage real quick and grabbed 2 of my posters and sat them up behind me so I could have a backdrop.
Yeah, I had to put the Federation flag up today.
But no, that's why I'm perfectly fine with the Romulan aspect and the fact that Discovery hasn't dove into Romulans,
Yeah.
And they did.
Well, they did. Discovery kind of touched them now in the 32nd century that the Romulans and the Vulcans share the same planet now. It's called Navarre. It's not even Vulcan anymore.
They touched it. They talked about it. Which, if you're going to have a universe where it's a possibility that the Romulans and Vulcans can have that reunification, and your main character in your Star Trek show was raised by Vulcans on Vulcan, you got to touch base on that. But they haven't made it a main focus like Picard did. Picard made the Romulan situation a main focus. I liked how they made the Romulan and Borg situation. Those are two things that happened to Picard throughout the series. That
I was waiting to see more. Huh?
That hit it home for him.
Yeah. I was waiting to see more of Seven of Nine's character when she plugged into the Queen's chamber. I was waiting for her to do a little more. I was waiting to see like her become a Borg queen or something like that, but
that
she's still Seven,
People were always were upset about the way they handled her character in the first place. That would have been a nail in the coffin. To have her become a Borg queen, no.
Yeah.
Because she'd had so many opportunities in Voyager to turn back into a Borg leader of sorts. Not really the queen, but like a Borg general. And she didn't. So
the only thing I'm hoping with the new seasons coming out is that a lot of the fans, and I've seen a lot of the chat rooms and the comment boards and things, is a little more family friendly with the shows. Like even Discovery, the first season, the dropping the F-bomb, naked Klingons, Picard, everybody dropping the F-bomb through all that, back and forth. Just things like that. Like that Star Trek to me is growing up. I watched it with my family as I was getting older, then my kids could watch it with me later on. It was something you could all sit around with. Now I have to watch the episode first just to see if there's anything my kid can't watch in it.
Yeah.
Because Lord knows when I watched Discovery in season 1, I'm doing something, I happen to look up and there's, a naked Klingon having sex. Granted, it's all prosthetics, but still, you know what I mean? So I'm hoping they go a little, I know just because you're streaming, you have that leeway to get away with a little more. Like I could see shit or something like that in there. But the commander of Starfleet, F you, F this, what the F are you doing? Effing shut up. And the Romulans.
If it's Picard, I'm sorry. Even watching the old series, that character, I'm surprised the F-bomb wasn't in his vocabulary before. Like, it's one of those things, when you watch Patrick Stewart cuss, I think one of the first times I actually saw a movie where he legitimately cussed, it didn't surprise me.
Well,
because it is the character he plays seems like that kind of character that would say that.
I don't know. He seems like he's a bit more, the refined Starfleet captain representing Starfleet and all the values and all that stuff. And it wasn't even Starfleet. Yeah, but he wasn't even the one dropping the F-bomb. You got the woman, Commander Starfleet, effing hubris, shut the F up, F you, the Romulan girl talking, the Romulan spy talking to her brother on the Borg cube. Did you F her yet? Come on. That's not Star Trek.
Yeah, well, Star Trek evolves as people write it.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
I'm all
edgy.
I can understand a little edgy, but come on. Star Trek was always the family show. You know what I mean?
It's all pushing the envelope, and it's basically everyone trying to be like Game of Thrones. They're trying to push that envelope as far as they can, and they think it'll get that they want the wow factor. Oh, this is an adult show, so adults can watch it. It's. I don't know what I feel like we've gotten to that with a lot of different TV out there where there has to be a line, whether it's adult or kid, and there's no middle ground. Right. And it's like, it's either way too childish or this is definitely an adult show. Yeah. And that's what that's part of what confuses me, not just with Trek, but like I said, with a lot of different TV that's been coming out.
Yeah.
And that's why I was so like the breath of fresh air is Falcon and Winter Soldier, because it's one of those that is it does touch base on both. And it does it's intelligent, it's intellectual, it's exciting, it's adventurous. It's just I love that show.
And Deborah, I do agree that I don't know why they have to swear that much. Like, Falcon and Winter Soldier, you can hear she's fighting. Sarah's fighting all these guys. She's kicking everybody's butt outside the lab, and every now and then you're getting like an oh shit or what, but it wasn't overdone.
No,
you know what I mean, I like the way they're touching on social issues, but not overextending it. With him, you're Black Falcon. I'm just Falcon. My dad said it's Black Falcon. Why? Because I'm black. He goes, do I call you Black Kid? And they get into that, and then the cops stopping them, and then
Oh yeah.
And I know I'm more into the Star Trek. I'm waiting patiently, probably much more patiently than I normally do. But I'm glad we have Falcon and Winter Soldier, because I'm digging Zemo's character in this last episode. He's like almost like he's pimping the whole time, He's got that look down. He's getting the car and he's got the look on. Mm-hmm. Although I think he might be. I think he's going to end up something villain wise. He's got
like Baron Zemo.
Yeah.
Do you think Baron Zemo's going to end up the villain that Baron Zemo is?
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. I think he's going to screw him the first chance he gets. You know what I mean?
No, not the first chance. He's had plenty of chances so far. He's going to get what he wants. Well, he already screwed him once by shooting the scientist.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. Sorry.
The mask. He's already got the mask going. And, they turned Sarah into a badass, let me tell you. I knew she was, tough to begin with.
Did you not watch Captain America Winter Soldier? She was already a badass.
That was the one. Winter Soldier's the one I kind of streamed through quickly. I watched it, but I watched it once. I never really went back to it. I liked her in Civil War, although I thought, okay, she's related to Peggy Carter, and her and Captain had a little fling-a-ding there,
So?
Huh?
So? I see so many posts and comments on that, like, oh, he kissed his niece. Her last name's Carter.
It's not, she's not really his niece, but I think it would change now that he went back in time at the end of Endgame.
Oh, I don't think it would really matter. I think once Peggy finds out, hey, Steve, what have you been through? Well, let me tell you.
Your niece?
By the way, throughout all this, I did kiss your niece. I don't think Peggy's going to be like, you what? How dare you? Like, I watched you die, went to your funeral, had a little thing with your niece, and I kissed her. Like,
I thought he did a little more than that, but...
and it actually makes sense that it happened.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It makes more sense that it happened than it would for it not to have happened. He fell in love with Peggy, never got to pursue that. Got to at least visit her when she's dying, in a sense.
Yeah.
So it would make sense that he's going to have some sort of relation, some sort of feelings grow for someone that is going to remind him of her.
Yeah.
Especially a blood relative of hers.
And it shows he's human. At least he's still human. You know what I mean? He still has feelings.
Yeah,
things like that.
Seriously. I mean, I'm sorry, Sharon. I can't kiss you because I was in love with your aunt 80 years ago.
Yeah,
and I just can't do this because it's wrong to her. Come on.
Talk about carrying a torch, my God.
But I mean, that's just one of those things. Like, to him, yeah, so he's 80 years old, but he's not. He was he was frozen
Yeah.
for a majority of that time. He's the same age as he was then when that, plus or minus however many years he's been an Avenger. But, so it's not like everybody tries to make it this gross thing, or he did it, he kissed his niece. She wasn't his niece at the time.
Oh, excuse me. I thought I was going to sneeze there for a minute. Yeah, I mean, I'm waiting to see what they do more with Bucky's character in this. It seems like they're evolving his character a little more.
Oh, they're diving in and involving both of them. I mean, man, at the same time, it shows that Batman's a better hero than Iron Man. You know why, right?
What?
Did you catch that? They're talking to Winter Soldier. They're talking about, how did you get, paid? How did you, what kind of money did you? Iron Man, this multi-billionaires, all this. But it's sort of like, well, we did it just to help out. They didn't really get a whole lot. But you watch Justice League and, the Clark's mom loses the farm and Bruce will go buy the bank just to get the farm back.
Yeah, right.
How did you do that? Oh, I bought the bank. You know what I'm saying? Like, which team are you going to join? Well, Bruce is more giving with his, more helping than Iron Man was, apparently.
Another spoiler, for Falcon and Winter Soldier. How'd you like that end of that episode? When, what's her name, came out of the shadows, when he knew she was standing there looking for Zemo?
I expected it. When they said Zemo was in, I expected it. And I really, and they've already said White Wolf.
Yeah.
So to bring in, if you're going to have Zemo, you're going to have a White Wolf reference, you're going to bring in Wakanda.
Yeah, well, they mentioned, it was like, what do you think? How do you think Wakanda's going to react with Zemo out of jail? Mm-hmm. I knew that, and I was waiting. When I saw her at the end, the only thing that could have made that better for me, I think, is if she would have bursted out with if she would have been with the Black Panther armor and came out of it, and it was her. Even though I know she's not the king of Wakanda.
That was just a random Wakandan. That wasn't.
Yeah, that was the general.
No, that wasn't the one who played Michonne in.
I thought that was the girl that was the
Walking Dead.
I thought she was the one that was the main general of his guard. I thought that was her.
I don't believe so.
I'll have to watch that again. I thought that's who that was, the main T'Chaka's guard. For T'Challa's guard.
I don't believe so. I'm going to look real quick.
Oh, okay, because that's who I thought it was. That's why I saw that, and I was like, oh, here it comes.
That was Ayo.
Yeah.
No, I don't think that was T'Challa's guard. That wasn't T'Challa's guard. T'Challa's guard is the one who played Michonne in that actress was Florence Kasumba.
Huh, I thought it was her.
She was in the guard. She was in she was in Civil War and on.
Yeah.
But the general was what is her name?
And yes, Crashly, it was Captain America who was kissing Sharon, the CIA agent who was Peggy Carter's niece.
Denai Gurira was the actress who played the captain of the guard.
Oh, all right.
Who was in Endgame that said it's an earthquake in the ocean, not doing anything about it, is handling it.
Yeah, I was waiting to see if they were going to do something with Nemo, but I don't know if anybody wants to see a half a Vulcan-looking dude in a green Speedo come rolling out of the water.
Oh, they're planning on doing that. The plan's there.
I'm sure.
But
they wouldn't reference it if it wasn't,
I think right now an issue is they got to let Warner Brothers keep stabbing themselves in the foot, shooting themselves in the foot on what they're doing. But, if they turn around and bring out a Aquaman-type character to the MCU.
If they bring out an Aquaman-type character, like if they bring out Nemo, Prince Namor, They better come up with someone just as badass as Jason Momoa.
It's Namor, not Nemo.
I said Namor afterwards. I corrected myself.
I know. You were insulting what you were doing, little Mr. DC fanboy.
Well, maybe a little subconscious there.
Maybe a little subconscious. But yeah, no, I'm excited to see where they take the direction of Falcon and Winter Soldier, just because I love the building of it. And
I'm getting all emotional with it because I'm waiting to see the top of Bucky's list. The Japanese guy whose son he killed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sitting there going, "Oh my God, is he going to tell him?" I'm all like, "Oh my God." I got all emotional and shit. I'm like, all right, why am I getting all emotional here?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to happen.
Queen
in the house. Let's see. Yep, that's what we said. I don't know if they're going to do it, but they've definitely planted the seeds for Namor and all them in there. A few other things.
Well, they've talked about wanting to do Namor. They've even talked about casting it on who they'd cast it. Yeah. But
they need
a matter of
badass.
And from what I understand is when they do it, they're going to go more with a Mediterranean look. From what I've read, so it won't be like Jason Momoa. You'll be looking at more of a Mediterranean race.
My kid was joking around when he said, "Get an Olympic swimmer or something. Do Michael Phelps." I'm like, "Yeah, okay." Yeah, and I know he was joking.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not all like, "Ooh, I need Namor right now." I'm not.
No.
I would much rather see them bring, the Punisher into it. I enjoyed the Netflix Punisher series really well, but with the way that they're doing this Falcon and Winter Soldier series, I can totally see the Punisher coming into this type of show.
I don't know. I think that would be its own, like they have already on Netflix. They already have like Daredevil, the Punisher, Iron Fist, Luke Cage. They're already there.
Yeah, but then
I don't know how they integrate them the right way.
They turn around and wrote those off as whatever they wrote those off as. Hopefully, we get some of them over. I mean, I like Bernthal as Punisher. I did. Mm. I enjoyed those series, but also you can see there's a complete and total different style between the MCU and what we had on Netflix.
Let's see. I do. Holoqueen's got some really good points going there.
Mm-hmm.
See him throwing up the wall, see what sticks. Yeah, see what they're going to do. I know I might get some oohs and ahs for this, but I didn't like the Punisher movie that they made as much, but I like Thomas Jane as the Punisher.
Thomas Jane was an amazing. Did you ever watch the little sequel he did to that?
I didn't see after that. I saw the first Punisher movie he did.
He made it was just him, or it wasn't the Punisher Warzone movie, which was god awful. He made a little
dude for that. Yeah,
he made a little short video type thing where he's just doing laundry or something. It's hilarious.
Because I like Thomas Jane. I liked him as even when he played Mickey Mantle in 61, the movie 61. And I thought he did it well, but I think if the movie was, that's the problem with a lot of the stuff. Some of these movies, they're just trying to write something half-assed feasible just to get the movie out, so they either don't lose the rights to it or whatever they're doing with it. And even though it was back then, the Punisher movie, I love that movie. I do. Could have been worse. Could still be Dolph Lundgren.
It could have been a lot worse. It could have been better, but the only problem I see that movie suffered from was not having microchip.
Mm-hmm.
That was part of the thing. And the other thing I feel that movie suffered from was just the style of how they made it. I mean, there were scenes in that you could tell they made that movie based out of the comics. There were scenes in that movie that were word for word written from the comic book. The whole scene where he's got the little lackey guy upside down and he's searing meat and then sticks him with the popsicle.
Yeah.
That scene is word for word out of Punisher Warzone #0. Like, I was watching the movie and I'm like, this is what? And I went and grabbed the comic and I'm like, dang. I mean, great. I think the name changed a little bit, but it's literally right there where he's all searing the meat. And I mean, just a lot of they did a lot of mashup. And that's why when they made the second one, called it Punisher Warzone, I was like, okay, I see what they're doing here. They're going with the Punisher Warzone, and then they just totally murdered it with what they did.
Well, they murdered it. They started out murdering it with Dolph Lundgren as the Punisher in the first movie they did back in the late 80s, 90s, early 90s. And then Thomas Jane I thought was a good Punisher, but the movie itself, I was like, you know. And then Warzone, I just, you know.
Warzone was just.
And I mean, I liked Ben Affleck as Daredevil. When the movie I thought sucked.
Well, but if you watch the director's cut of Daredevil, it was somewhat decent. Daredevil would have been so much better if Jennifer Garner wasn't in it. If they would have cast someone better and wrote the character of Elektra better, it would have been 1,000 times better. The two issues that Daredevil had was Jennifer Garner and the fight scenes.
Yeah.
The fight scenes were they felt more like dances than they did fights. They were too choreographed. I mean, obviously they're all choreographed, but you know what I mean? They were too fluid. They flowed too much. It was like you knew, you know, you could tell they knew what moves were coming. It wasn't it didn't feel like an actual fight scene. It felt like a rehearsal.
Like sitting when they're fighting on the seesaw teeter-totter thing, and they're both standing up. Now, I could see balancing it out like the way, you know, but I'm sure he's got a good 50 pounds on that little girl. He should have shot her over the fence, over the wall when he jumped on that thing. But I mean,
again, the choreography of the fight scenes for the most part were just
all the movies I think had good parts to them, but as a whole, it never really came togetger for me.
And see, and as a whole, I could sit down and watch Daredevil and enjoy it.
I could too.
As a whole, I enjoy the movie. There were, like I said, with Daredevil, I feel there were more. There was more of that movie that I enjoyed than there was that I didn't enjoy. Like, I loved every interaction between Daredevil and Kingpin.
Yeah.
Every Kingpin interaction, you know, even the way they did Bullseye, I was okay with. Again, the choreography was kind of stupid.
Yeah, that kind of thing. But
I can get past the stupid choreography and still enjoy the film. You know, and I love the way they did The Reporter. Like I said, there's so much of that movie, Froggy Nelson, all that. There's so much of that movie that I really, really enjoy versus what I didn't enjoy of it.
Right.
Where Punisher Warzone, there's so much of that movie I despise.
I mean, a lot of these things got real low budgets, and they were just, you know, oh, hey, Bill Anderson. Bill's in here tonight. We were waiting for you.
What's up, Bill?
And Hollow Queen is definitely. Let's see.
I've been real quick, Robert.
Yeah.
Bill is actually one of my best friends in real life.
Oh, really?
I didn't recognize it at first because it's a different, like it pulled from his email or something like that. But yeah, he's one of my best friends in real life. So.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, no, the Punishers were both low budget, and casting is what hurt Thomas Jane's Punisher movie. The fact John Travolta was cast in it.
Yeah, I like John Travolta, but not in that. You know what I mean?
I enjoyed him in that. That's the thing. Is too many people were like, "Oh, John Travolta." Now I got blinders up. I'm not going to like it.
Right.
It was the same like Green Lantern. When Ryan Reynolds was cast as the Green Lantern, the movie failed instantly.
You think?
Yeah. because they didn't want Ryan Reynolds as Green Lantern. And it's not, well, the other thing that failed it somewhat is it's not a situation of getting like a Michael Keaton or, as Batman or a Heath Ledger as Joker. It was, they cast him as Green Lantern, instantly it failed, and what helped it fail more is when they put him in the role, he was still who everybody expected him to be. Where when you got Michael Keaton as Batman, they were like, oh wait, this isn't the Michael Keaton we know. And you get Heath Ledger as Joker, it's like, this isn't the Heath Ledger we know.
Right.
But when we got Green Lantern, it was, this is Ryan Reynolds. That's who he is. So the movie failed.
Okay. I see what you mean. I think, because they kind of did it because he was still flavor of the month then. He was real popular at the time. And then when they did him as Deadpool, he's definitely Deadpool. I think he's got Deadpool down. In that way. But Green Lantern is, I think, a very different, different.
Even back when Ryan Reynolds was in Blade, when he was in Blade Trinity, when he played that character, one of the comic book people that were there was like, you were born to play Deadpool. When they decided to make that movie, you need to be there, and that is why he was there for Wolverine, or for X-Men Origins Wolverine, to play Wade Wilson, was because he was told during Blade that when that character comes to the screen, he needs to be there to play it. So it's like he was right there, fit for that. Blade Trinity was another one of those that it was just like mainstream Hollywood taking over the minds of those who make it. Instead of going, hey, let's make a movie about this character and keep to it, it was, let's make a movie about this character, and how can we bring that to what's selling today?
Yeah. I think they made one too many Blade movies, and I'm waiting to see what they do with the new one that they're supposedly having out.
Mm-hmm.
The series, I watched the Blade series. They did the TV series, and
I wasn't a fan.
I wasn't really a fan either, and they left it on such a cliffhanger that even pissed me off more when the way they left it. But I'm waiting to see what they do. The big one I'm waiting for is Morbius.
Yeah, Hello Queen. They did, but that was somewhat after the fact that they were already talking about Ryan Reynolds playing him. It was sort of one of those situations. Hello Queen said, didn't Deadpool in the comics say that Ryan Reynolds should play him at one point? And yeah, he did. But it was one of those situations. It was sort of like the Samuel L. Jackson playing Nick Fury thing. People who drew the comic asked Jackson to use his likeness for Nick Fury, and then that opened the door that once the role was gone, it was like, well, who are we going to give it to? Obviously, Samuel L. Jackson. Sort of like Danny Trejo in Predators. When Robert Rodriguez is making Predators, he's like, oh, we need a Danny Trejo type to play this character. And of course, Danny Trejo's like, hey, man, I'm a Danny Trejo type. Come on, I'm Danny Trejo.
That was it. Yep, that's what I said. They did make the one too many. They
didn't make one too many Blade movies. They tried to go more mainstream with it, with the whole silver gas thing, and bring in wrestlers, because for some reason in the late 90s and early 2000s, it was, the thing to have wrestlers in your movies.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't into Blade 2, to tell you the truth.
Oh, so I loved Blade 2.
It was all right, but I liked Blade 1, and then after that, it just seemed like they were just piling on, and that was it to me. You make one too. See, Holocrane agrees with the Blade movies. It's like they try to make so many comic book movies. When one does well, then all of a sudden they buy up all the property they can just to try and put it out, and it doesn't seem like they're too interested in the quality of it. Let's just get it out.
And thankfully now we are in an era of comic books where that's not the situation anymore. That was back when it was buy up, and then Marvel crashed. Marvel was dying.
Yeah.
And that's why they sold a lot of their movie rights all over it. And then this where they're at now, yeah, there's still more Marvel characters out that they need to get back, but overall getting them back in house is helping them out a lot more. And now that Marvel has Blade, so we're not going to get all this craziness that we've been getting. Somehow Warner Brothers for the past 40 years hasn't been able to do what they need to do. Having all their characters in house hasn't helped them. No. Warner Brothers doesn't have to make a Batman movie every 5 years. They can go 50 years without making a Batman movie. They'll still own the rights because they own DC Comics. They own the rights all the way down to the, just like now Marvel owns Iron Man and all them. Sony has to make Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
Fox had to make X-Men movies and Fantastic Four movies. But now Disney bought Fox, so now they don't have to make them anymore. They can go, okay, we're going to wait 5, 6, 7 years.
Yeah.
Because we're not going to lose the rights because we own them down to the core.
It just seems like even though Disney owns just about everything anymore with the, the Empire of the Mouse there, I don't know why I just don't think they can make a good Fantastic Four movie yet. I haven't seen one I liked yet.
Oh, I know they can. And see, the thing is you look at Disney owning it, but Disney now, what you see Disney Studios,
yeah,
is not Disney Studios from 30 years ago. You want to see if you want to put an equate to what Disney Studios is versus 30 years ago, it's Buena Vista Studios.
Yeah.
Buena Vista just changed their name to Disney. They still have all of their animated department, their Disney movie department, but then you've also got Pixar's its own little company under the hood. You've got Marvel is its own little company under the hood. Lucasfilms is its little company. The head, just like where Buena Vista would have their say in how Mighty Ducks was made or how Hook was made, or they're saying things. You still had Disney making their things as well. Buena Vista just took the Disney name up one level, and you still got these other these other videos. Like look at Signs, the movie Signs. That was a Buena Vista movie. That movie was made by Disney.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like you wouldn't look at that movie and go, "That's a Disney movie."
No, not at all.
But it was made by Disney because it was made by Buena Vista Studios, which is now called Disney.
Disney, yeah.
I mean, it was all created by Walt Disney. The whole studio was. They should have done Blade in space.
I like the yes, wrestlers eat too. Yes, I get it. Because you can only wrestle for so long. I don't know how long you can wrestle for. I mean, Hulk Hogan, I think, overdid it a bit, but yeah. I mean,
Blade defeated Hellboy.
What is it? The new Birds of Prey or whatever it is? Or Suicide Squad with John Cena.
I had that idea. Are you telling me that happened?
It didn't actually happen, but
I thought I had a bright idea.
In Blade Trinity, Ron Perlman, the guy who played Hellboy in Hellboy 1 and 2, played a bad guy in Blade Trinity and Blade 1 in Blade Trinity. So yeah, Blade defeated Hellboy.
Yeah, Ron Perlman was in Blade 2.
It was Blade 2, not Blade 3. That's right.
Yeah, Blade
2. It was Blade 2 that he. So Blade owned Sons of Anarchy.
Hey, we have Tia.
Yeah, woohoo!
Woo! And Tia crashed. Everybody, Val said hi. I got a little yell from upstairs there. Val said hi.
I liked Wesley Snipes' idea of keeping his Blade movies canon in the MCU and just having it continue with his daughter or whatever, how it did in the comics.
Yeah.
But they didn't want that. They wanted to redo it. So we're gonna get a new Blade.
Have you seen? I know it's like, it could still be considered nerddom because Kevin Smith is a big nerd. I'm a big Kevin Smith fan as well.
Kevin Smith.
Clerks.
I know who Kevin Smith is. I know who Kevin Smith.
I was gonna say, I almost ripped up your nerd card on that one. Jesus. Holy crap!
Oh man, we just talked about watching Daredevil.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's why you said that with such a straight face too. You got me. But just in the Jay and Silent Bob reboot, and he had what's his name saying with the franchise movies? He goes, "Oh, you got a bunch of big buff muscle guy cars? We're gonna keep making those movies until you're sick of them." He said, "Yeah, just like all those Marvel movies. Hey, those Marvel movies were gold." And he went after all those, and you can keep making them reboot, remake, sequels, everything. And the studios are going to keep ramming them down your throat. I think sometimes at the cost of quality. Marvel seems to be getting quality's definitely picked up.
As common viewers, we do have somewhat, I know from a bunch of people that I talk to, have somewhat of a misconception of how some of that is handled. We see a lot of these reboots and remasters going, and we imagine some group of people sitting around a table going, what ideas do we have for movies? What can we do? Completely disconnected. Just throwing in, let's remake that one movie that was popular. Let's remake this movie that was popular. Yeah. Where a majority of the time, that's not what it is. A majority of the time, it's someone who's passionate that has written a script and goes in and goes, hey, I've got a movie to shoot you. I've got an idea for you. Someone who, like Fantastic Four, for example, they needed to make a Fantastic Four movie to keep the rights.
Yeah.
But they didn't go, let's just throw together. No, they had someone who's passionate about it that wanted to make a Fantastic Four movie come in to make it. But the studio was going, no, you can't do this, you can't do that. I mean, that whole movie would have been a dumpster fire in the first place, from what I understand. Right. But at the same time, the studio didn't help it any. But it wasn't the studio going, let's just throw something together. It was, they came in with an idea.
Yeah.
That's what the majority of the time it is.
And I've noticed, listening to, we'll go back to Kevin Smith talk and other directors talk, they have the idea, they have how they want to do it, but then they get every suit executive and whatever from the studio. Well, how about this instead? Why don't you do this? Mm-hmm. I'd like to see some of this. So their vision turns into, more or less a little half a peek at what they originally had, and it just changes it. But
yeah, and that's where it comes down to. That's why when there's 50 billion producers, you get the problems.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I think Marvel's doing well is they're waiting for the right times. They could have, as soon as they got the rights to the X-Men movies, they could have just thrown out an X-Men movie.
Right.
They could have. They could have turned around and been like, "Oh, we got X-Men back. Let's start throwing mutants into the movies." But no, they're taking their time.
Yeah.
They're letting it sit. They put out the Lullaby that is New Mutants. I say Lullaby because I have yet to stay awake through it.
Yeah, I honestly didn't get that one yet.
They went ahead and let it come out, but they're sitting on them. They announced Fantastic Four because, to be 100% honest, the Fantastic Four fits beautiful in the MCU.
If it's done right, yes, I think it'll fit nicely.
I think it'll be done right because it's being made by the people who make the comics.
All right.
That's what has been doing justice on the MCU movies, is it's being made by the people who make the comics. It's not disconnected. It's not like Warner Brothers where they'll go, Zack Snyder come in, do Superman movies, and the people who make the comics aren't involved.
At all. Yeah. That's...
it's not like Fox was with X-Men movies, and the people who make the comics aren't involved, and if they are, it's because the filmmaker wanted to contact them and say, hey, what's your idea? No,
Yeah.
Marvel movies and TV shows are being made right there with the people who make the comics. They bring them in, they get the ideas because they're wanting to integrate them in together. The comics have already started talking about bringing situations that have happened in the MCU into the comic world, into those stories.
Yeah.
I mean, they've already given the MCU, it's like Earth 99 or Earth 999 or something like that.
Something.
In the comics world.
It just seems like both studios, DC and Marvel, are just throwing stuff out to see how they can compete with each other. Because I watched the Titans, the Titans, Robin, Starfire.
I've watched. I don't know if I've finished season 1 yet or not. I'm watching it, but you talk about shows you can't watch with kids in the room.
And it's like they're not even the right characters.
Oh, it's a different universe, Rob. I
can't do it. I can't do it.
So if I made a movie where, say, Thomas Wayne didn't die and Bruce didn't grow up to become Batman, but Thomas Wayne grew up to become Batman.
Yeah, that's a different Earth. That's the Earth where
you'd watch it. It may not be like the main comic, but you'd watch it because that's a different Earth. These are different Earths. They're just not in the comic.
Starfire is not an alien. The girl Raven is not, what's his name?
They haven't said whether Starfire is an alien or not. They have, from what I've seen. They may touch base on it in season 2 or season 3 is going to come out. But Starfire could still very well be an alien.
Didn't they take the girl that was playing Starfire and make her Batwoman? Wasn't that the same girl?
No.
I thought it looks just like her. Because I can't even. Now they said they've already recast Batwoman again. The Kate Kane character.
This is they haven't recast. They recast Kate Kane, yes.
Yes.
But there's not an again. This is the first recasting again.
Right. You know what I mean. They're changing Batwoman again.
Well, yeah, and it's still going to fail. But
I didn't really like it. I mean, I like Ruby Rose. That's her name, Ruby Rose?
Yeah.
The first Batwoman. I liked her. She was tried to be too broody, edgy, like Bruce Wayne with a little more attitude, like broody.
Mm-hmm.
Like even Bruce Wayne, he had the broody attitude, but he was still like, millionaire playboy Bruce Wayne, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
This one, she just, she might as well have been hanging up. Excuse me.
Yeah, see?
They might as well have been her hanging upside down by her feet in a bat cave. You know what
Bill
I mean?
sees what it is. We could bring in Lucasfilms to turn around and digitally add the X-Men to the MCU movies, and then Harley Quinn instantly takes her mind going to George Lucas turning in and retconning it.
Oh, God. It's just there's so much they're doing with these things
special edition.
Super special director's cut twice removed edition, And it's yeah.
Oh man.
Now they're talking about adding Joss Whedon and the Snyder cut, intermixing them again into another edition.
What?
Yeah, they're talking about putting some of that back in now. I read that as a matter of fact yesterday.
The Whedon Snyder edition.
Yeah, the Whedon Snyder.
5 hours long.
Oh God. What is it? Val's still talking wrestling.
But no, I just, I enjoy those. Like I said, I've enjoyed Titans. I really want to get more into it. It's one of those I've been able to watch with the kids, obviously.
Yeah.
But, from what I was reading, Nightwing's he's ditching Robin and becoming Nightwing. Apparently they are bringing Red Hood, so they're going a different route with making Drake Red Hood. I mean, he was in season 1 as Robin, but I'm wondering how they're going to go that route. But
really, because doesn't the Joker has to beat him to death with a crowbar?
If you're going based off the common universe,
right?
But it's a different universe. Just like you can have a different universe where it's Thomas Wayne becoming Batman and not Bruce. They can do whatever they want and take their own routes with it.
Yeah, it seems like a cop out to me. Oh no, this is Earth 221 now, Earth 38, Earth 16, Earth whatever.
They've already given it an Earth name. It's in the Arrowverse gave it an Earth name.
Yeah, they give it
When they went through and showed that it's
the multiverse.
It is on a different universe. Titans is on a different universe than the Doom Patrol is, and Doom Patrol's on a different universe than Stargirl is, and Stargirl's on a different universe than the Arrowverse.
Yeah, I remember Flash and Supergirl were supposed to be on different universes as well until they combined. It just seems like it's a cop out to me. I don't know.
That's how the comics have always been, though. Yeah. It's always been a cop out to be able to put your own twist on it. But it has to be a different universe to be able to put your own twist, or else they might as well just be making shows with the comic book in front of them for a purist like you and just bringing it to the screen.
I mean, I can go a little ways off, but when you see a certain thing for so long, and then all of a sudden you got some 20-something little snot nose in there going, "Hey, let's do it this way," and just put it on a different Earth, Then I'm sitting there like, no, and I get all pissy about it. But I still end up watching it. But I still get the whole time I'm watching it, I'm going, no. But I watch it, and I end up watching the whole season, and I watch it again, and I'm turning into a grumpy old man. I just got to sit there and complain a little bit, or I'm not happy.
You can question it, but no, I get it. Yeah. I completely and totally get it.
Right.
One other thing, we're getting close to, I'd say about 13 minutes, I'd like to call it on this. But one thing I want to I want to talk about before we head out is Godzilla versus Kong. Last Wednesday. It's come out since our last live. What were your thoughts?
I liked it. I really liked it. I really did. I loved it.
I love the callbacks.
What do you mean?
Callbacks to the original Godzilla versus King Kong.
Right. How they went. Yeah, they went through and did all the. It was almost like they did a wrestling tournament chart. Mothra, and then this one Godzilla versus this one Kong.
There was that. I'm talking about the scene callbacks. To the original movie. Where in the original movie where Kong took the tree
and stuck it down his throat.
Spoilers, guys. Spoilers for Godzilla versus Kong. If you haven't watched it yet, go watch it.
Yeah,
the tree and used it to shove it in Godzilla's mouth.
Yeah, then he had the big axe.
The axe.
Yeah.
The one where the helicopters are taking Kong in with all the balloons. And they drop the balloons and he goes down. In this one, the helicopters take him into Antarctica and drop them down. I mean, there's just those little callbacks that were like, okay, I see what you did there.
They did their homework. They did. I did like it. I even thought the little girl was a cool character. I even thought
so many people dog the human characters in these movies, like, they weren't needed. That is one argument that is coming to becoming one of my loathingness to my core is. That character didn't need to exist. They didn't contribute anything significant to the story. You know how many stories you are involved in that you don't contribute to? So maybe we should write you out of existence. Seriously, people can exist without being major contributors to a story.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't need movies with just one or two people doing everything.
I liked the fact that they had the interaction, then they found out he could sign with her. And I have to say, another spoiler. This is a spoiler, so in 3, 2, 1. When they killed the daughter, the big tycoon's daughter.
Oh God.
I actually got a smile on my face when they killed her.
The way they did it's what got it. King Kong's just like,
Smush.
You in there? Nope, you're not in there.
Smush, yeah. And the way they did the fighting scene too, with the roars back and forth. Yeah, then she told him, Godzilla's not the enemy, and then Mecha Godzilla and all that shit. I loved it. And even the facial expressions they got with the CG on Kong, like when he finally got up at the end to fight some more, and he was all like, jeez, here we go.
Tia, you may have felt they weren't necessary, but they were still there. When I'm at work, not my job, but I've been at work numerous times where I felt people weren't necessary. Someone coming in and buying stuff when I worked retail and leaving had nothing to do with my life and weren't necessary to be in frame, but they were in frame of my life because they came in and bought stuff. It happened. So, I mean, when a writer or something writes in characters that aren't specifically necessary or someone else could take that role, to me it still doesn't matter, because we are like that in life. So many things could have been done differently. You could take school, for example. You can have a teacher with a teacher's aide. The teacher can do most of the work. The aide's not necessary, but the aide exists.
Yeah.
They're there. That's life.
Even though the characters were like kind of very backgroundish, they still had the Millie Bobby Brown's character, the janitor. They still kind of were necessary for the fact that they exposed, hey, what's going on here? What are we doing here? And they kind of brought some of the foreshadowing into it, if that's the right word to use, with what was going on at the lab. Okay, then you see the characters with the little girl and the mother, okay, we can't keep him like this. Then you realize that's all a setup that they're keeping the two of them apart, Godzilla and Kong. So every character, I think even the minor role that they played, I think really were put in there right where they had to be. I thought it was really well.
I also look at different aspects of it too. Like a big one that I saw people talking about were, one, Millie Bobby Brown's character not being necessary, but understandable.
Right.
The other one is her friend, the guy who was the kid from Deadpool 2.
Yeah, he was in Christmas Chronicles too.
Yeah.
Tapwater. When they called him Tapwater.
They were saying that he was complete and totally unnecessary as a character. But at the same time, given the characterization of her and her father, it does make sense that she didn't have a vehicle to drive, so she would need someone to drive her. So, yeah, she could have taken an Uber around to try to find this guy, or they could go ahead and have another person involved.
Yeah, he was like the sidekick, like the tech sidekick.
And at the same time, her character somewhat may not have been necessary overall to the story, but given where Godzilla King of the Monsters ended, her dad being who he was in Monarch,
right,
which is a company that had been around, that was created by John Goodman back in Skull Island time, even though it came out after Godzilla, but chronological wise, storyline wise, Kong Skull Island happened before Godzilla did. Right. So you've got him in it, and given her involvement in Godzilla King of the Monsters, it makes sense that her character would be involved in trying to clear Godzilla's name.
Right.
Like, it would be one of those things to where if they didn't have her character, you'd have the internet being blow up with, well, what happened to Millie Bobby Brown's character? Why wasn't she there trying to help? She knows Godzilla's not a bad guy.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things that the character may not have, been necessary, but at the same time, it does make sense to me that they were there.
Yeah.
Like the one, if I was going to nitpick it to some things I wasn't a fan of, is one, the scientists, talking about the science expedition to Hollow Earth. It felt like there was a movie about that I missed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There was a whole situation with Hollow Earth, but having that scientist go from having a beard to being clean cut threw me off. Because to me, I didn't recognize him at first.
All right.
I saw him with the beard, and then when he showed up talking to the scientist right after, and he was clean cut, it took a second for my brain to register that it was the same character.
Oh, okay. Let's see.
To me, that was one of the things that threw me off was that a drastic costume change like that, without showing it, without making it apparent that hey, that's the same person. Sort of like the whole kid thing where your kid sees dad with the beard all the time, and then shaves it, and the kid's like,
yeah, like who the hell are you? Yeah,
it was that mentality of like, whoa, wait, who's this guy?
Yeah.
And then the other thing that I had an issue with was how quickly Millie Bobby Brown's character's dad got to Japan.
They were in China though. They went to
Beijing,
yeah. Well, I mean, they got there really fast because they had that little.
That's how Millie Bobby Brown got there really fast. He didn't get there through that.
I thought he was already there, like going back and forth. I just kind of added my own little stuff in there with the like.
I mean, that was one of the things. Is like, how did he get there so quickly?
Yeah,
because he was obviously in the States where Millie was, because she went and talked to him.
Yeah, she talked to him earlier that day.
Yeah, so I understood. She got there by the underwater, thing. Which, if you want to talk about evil companies, obviously that's an evil company that has already found a way to be able to supply Las Vegas with a week's worth of energy, but doesn't do it. Puts it in a ship to go into the Earth.
Yeah, and you can download power from Hollow Earth.
Yeah, but like I said, I could nitpick some things out of it that were, but at the same time, it's not the kind of movie you sit there and watch for all those. Right. It's not Star Trek.
I think it was more of like almost like supposed to be an origin of the Titans. Kong, Godzilla, Mothra, all them. Oh, this is where they came from. And let's try and get them back. And then there happens to be an energy source there. So.
Yeah, so I mean, like I said, I love the history aspect. I want more of the MonsterVerse.
Yeah, I used to love those movies as a kid.
I want so much more of those. I mean, it's just the fight scenes were well done. I love the way they did Mechagodzilla. They didn't screw it up by trying to make it all Transformers-y.
Yeah,
it was still clanky. It was still, it had a flow to it, but it wasn't like parts that moved that didn't make sense on how they moved.
Right.
And I love that they left it open somewhat because you didn't see the third skull.
Yeah, they only had one. They only showed one.
Two. They said one skull was the uplink, the other skull was in Mechagodzilla.
Oh,
where the third skull is.
All right. I didn't know there was one in Mechagodzilla.
Yeah, that was the whole thing about using the uplink, and then basically when they put in the.
I remember them talking about that, the link between the skulls.
And then when they were able to replicate the power source after 2 seconds of having it uploaded to them.
Yeah.
But it caused basically when they were fighting Mechagodzilla, they weren't fighting Mechagodzilla, they were fighting Ghidorah again.
Yeah.
Because of a DNA memory.
Yeah. I remember them talking about that. But yeah, I didn't think I was going to like it. I thought at first it was going to be, a little cheesy monster movie like they used to be, but I was surprised. I really liked it.
I loved it. I loved how much of a Kong sequel it was.
Yeah.
It wasn't so much just a Godzilla sequel. It was more of a Kong sequel.
Yeah.
It focused on what Kong had been up to. So.
And I think the little girl's character, the little deaf girl's character.
Oh, yeah.
Gave depth to Kong's character, like Kong's altogether. With the finger talking, touching the little girl's finger and talking to her and everything else. So I liked it. I really liked it.
Oh, I completely enjoyed it. And I want to see where they're going to go with it. I was worried somewhat because of it felt, I was worried that it was going to be a throw together type thing because everybody was wanting it. And it's still, to me, I really enjoyed it. I loved it.
I think they could go either way with it because they brought it back to Hollow Earth. So it looks like it could be like, oh, he's home. Yay. Okay, done. Or, they could go somewhere with it. So.
No, exactly. It's one of those things they could leave it where it's at or go with it. And I really hope they take it and run with it.
I hope they take their time, though, and run with it. And don't just push something out. Hollywood has a habit of holy crap, this was really successful and everybody liked it. Let's put another one out really quick. You know.
And you can do that. You can put them out somewhat back to back if you have a plan laid out.
Right. If you already have like Christian Bale, Christopher Nolan's Batman, that was planned to be a trilogy. So they had 1, 2, 3 ready to go. And they put them out like, what, a year and a half apart? If that, something like that.
Yeah, well, not just that. I mean, even look at Star Trek. Look at how quickly we got from Star Trek 2, Wrath of Khan, how quickly we got Star Trek 3, Star Trek 4, Star Trek 5, Star Trek 6.
Yeah.
You know, we got them fairly quickly. You know, it wasn't like they waited 5, 6 years between movies. They
were every couple years, every couple.
You know, and all it takes is just having people who know the source material and working with them.
Although with the Star Treks, and I'm not going to turn in my fan card for this, but I think William Shatner should have stuck to acting as Kirk in them. Star Trek V, The Final Frontier, I watched it. I liked it. Wasn't one of its best. That's the one William Shatner directed. Star Trek 3, Search for Spock, Leonard Nimoy, or The Whales. 4 is the one he did. That was 4 is The Whales. Voyage Home.
Yeah.
Better. That was the one Leonard Nimoy directed. Mm-hmm. I liked Star Trek 6 because it was Star Trek, but it had that murder mystery feel to it as well.
Yeah.
I like that one. And it's Klingons,
But Nimoy directed Star Trek 3 as well. Search for Spock.
3, 4. And then you got William Shatner wanting to do 5, and it was really like
5
I watched it. I liked it, but it wasn't the best.
Star Trek 5's problem wasn't directing. Star Trek 5's problem was writing.
Yeah.
It wasn't directing. It was writing. Directing was fine on it. I mean, I'm not going to say William Shatner should direct all the time. No, I'm just saying overall, it still felt like a Star Trek movie direction-wise. The writing is what was horrible. And I'll say it straight up. The writing of Star Trek V was horrible.
Right. I think they missed a lot of points they could have went with, and then they, or they started to go with certain points, and then they just stopped on some of it, and it just didn't seem to come together for me.
They tried to go more with an unknown type thing.
Yeah.
Where when Star Trek 2 came out, it was, you had Wrath of Khan. The Star Trek 3 was picking up because of Star Trek 2, Star Trek 3 happens. Because of Star Trek 3, Star Trek 4 is where, it's the probe coming in wasn't because of what happened in Star Trek 3, but it picks up the Enterprise crew, their situation. The fact that you go the entire movie. A lot of people don't understand Star Trek 3 is an entire movie. Not Star Trek 4. Star Trek 4 is an entire movie where you don't see the Enterprise until the last clip.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah, they showed the one clip where he was where he destroyed it in part, Wait.
Mm-hmm. No, Star Trek 4, you don't see the Enterprise until the end when it's rebuilt.
Yeah, it was Enterprise A, yeah.
So it was like you got an entire Star Trek movie there, which was fine, but again, following the characters. By the time Star Trek 5 hits, they tried to go more of a, it's Star Trek 5, the final frontier. It's going back to the unknown. Let's go to this alien place and fight this alien bad guy type stuff. And they tried to make it personal with Spock's half brother.
Yeah.
That no one knew about, but at the same time, I guess it opened up for Discovery to come. If Kirk can go that long without knowing Spock had a brother, now it makes sense that he didn't know he had a sister either.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that gets me. But I mean, I just didn't like the one thing I didn't like about it was how nothing worked. It was like a crap ship. The engine was great, but things were breaking down. Oh, we got to do this, we got to do that. And
it was a throw together refit. They actually. I don't know if it was just an external canon or exactly what. I'm not sure how they brought it in there. I read it somewhere, and I don't know if it's canon or not, but the Enterprise A was actually not complete and totally built to be the Enterprise A. They took the Enterprise's sister ship, since they were decommissioning both ships to go on with the Excelsior class.
Yeah.
They took the Enterprise's sister ship and refitted her to be the Enterprise A. And that's why there were so many issues.
Okay.
Was
because I was wondering why they kept saying, oh, we're decommissioning her. She's 25 years old. I'm like, no, they just built her in the last movie. What the hell? But that makes more sense.
Yeah, to where it, like I said, I don't know if it was a deleted scene or what it was that I read this at, but it could have been throughout the movies. I don't know, but it was the sister ship. I can't remember the name of the ship.
Well, there were a bunch of them. There were the Constellation, Constitution, all of them.
But each ship at the time, now we've got it to where they've made it to where like 50 ships can be the same. At the time, there were 2 ships of each design.
Well, I know in the original series, there were 5 Constitution-class starships.
But they all didn't look like the Enterprise.
Yeah, they were the Constitution, Constellation, the Ares, the Enterprise, and...
Okay. Yeah, I know what you're talking about now.
Yeah, they had all the 5 of them.
And there was the one that
they showed them all in the
Alien Web.
Well, no, they showed them in the Perfect Computer where the Dyson tried hooking the computer up to the Enterprise to take away, the manpower. The computer would fight the battle.
Yeah.
And then they showed all the other ships that looked like Enterprise.
That was like season 2, the season 2 series finale, I believe.
2 or 3, yeah, something like that. And yes, Hollow Queen, Star Trek V definitely required colorful metaphors.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a few I was saying, adding in there, here and there. But
I mean, it's still, as far as the Trek movies as a whole, they still all stand watchable.
Yeah.
They're not 100%.
Star Trek fans got almost as bad. I'm a Star Wars fan too, but Star Wars fans lately, the hardcore ones, have, in my opinion, just gotten out of hand.
Toxic fandom.
Yeah, that I could not believe that stuff. I mean, if we didn't like a movie, we bitch to our friends. You see that? Yeah, I didn't like that. But to write letters and attack that poor girl on social media, was there that Tran things like just because they didn't like the character?
They can do that, but look at what she's making money now. She just had that Disney movie come out.
Yeah, the Raya. Yeah. I actually watched that. I watched that with a patient of mine, and the dragon, Raya, or no, Sisu is the dragon. There's that the Asian girl, Aquafina.
Yeah.
Was Sisu. That was the voice of Sisu, the dragon. And you could tell immediately it was her. It was hysterical.
See, I haven't watched that one yet because,
it was cute. Yeah, it was cute to watch.
I pay $30 to watch a movie right now.
That's nuts. You don't have to pay for it right now. It's out now on Disney Plus.
Oh, it's out to watch without paying for it?
Yeah, you don't have to pay for it. I didn't have to.
For free?
For free. That's the nothing better than a cold beer, but a free one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, that's
Tia watched it. She liked it. I liked Zizu. Everything was funny with Zizu. The movie, it was really funny. She goes, I don't know why they're mad at you. You know why? Because you didn't bring a gift. Maybe if you brought a gift, you would be fine.
Real quick, I don't want to let the chat go away.
Okay.
Hollow Queen, when you said the first one put you to sleep, are you talking about the first Star Trek movie, Star Trek the Motion Picture?
Yeah, I'll agree.
Because I can completely see that. I mean, come on, we got a movie that gives you like a 10, 15-minute sequence of them flying around the Enterprise, which at the same time, though, I can see where if you were a Trekkie in theaters and you hadn't seen but syndicated episodes of Trek and the animated series, and then to sit there and just watch on the big screen this entire. And I could just see how amazing that must have felt.
Yeah, when we saw it back then,
in theaters.
Yeah, in '79, that was like state-of-the-art animation and CG effects.
Yeah.
And everybody was in the theater like, wow. But then when you watch it today and they do the extended cut, you're
just like,
is it over yet?
My biggest issue with Star Trek the Motion Picture is they made Kirk an asshole.
Yeah, they did.
Completely, totally. That was not Kirk. It was like, who is what? Like they straight up made that's the only issue, the main issue I had with the motion picture. The other issue I had was, I felt like I was watching Stanley Kubrick's Star Trek.
Oh God.
Did it not feel like Stanley Kubrick's Star Trek?
It had, it did. I mean,
it was completely and totally inspired by Space Odyssey. And
when we watched that at the movie theaters and we saw the Klingons for the first time, my cousin was with us and he's like, what the hell is that? When it looks like their spines went all the way up over their head. And then they're like, okay, and they got a language for it, and they really spent the money and did the budget and state of the art, and we got into it and the phasers. And the first time we saw them go to warp in that movie, that was it. Everybody was like, wow, and it was great. Now we're just like, Star Trek 1, can we skip this one? Or like, you could watch the first 20 minutes and the last 20 minutes. And you got the motion picture right there. You don't need all the bullshit of,
Come on, so Robert, we should make the Star Trek the motion picture, the Trekkie cut, and it comes out being like an episode long.
Here's the first 20 minutes. Okay, it sets it all up. Okay, here's Ilea talking shit. After they got her and made her a robot, and then the last 20 minutes, and we're good. Kirk came up with it. Spock had to do it. Okay, what do we want to do? All right, get the sort of main character to put the wires back together. The sort of main character, but really not. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's so much stuff that could get edited from that movie that could just hit the cutting room floor. The transporter scene. Losing the science officer in the transporter scene.
Yeah.
I mean, it could have just I understand you had to leave that open to be able to bring Spock in as a science officer.
Yes.
But it's like
it built up the whole, they could have
how does McCoy even talk to Kirk after that? Seriously, McCoy's fear of using the transporter and doing all that, the moment McCoy finds out that that's what happened right before he was beamed up.
Yeah.
Like, wait, what?
Yeah, really. It's like, okay, he won't get in the transporter. No, he's refusing to get in the transporter. No shit. Someone just got waxed on the last one. The last
we just saw what happened to the science officer. And you're all like, try it again. We got it fixed, we think.
Yeah. We can do it this time. Go ahead.
It's just, you cut some of that, cut a huge part of flying around the Enterprise.
Yeah, the whole going through the cloud, going through V'ger. Okay. Cut
a lot of the V'ger stuff out, the light show with V'ger, a lot of the Spock mind melding with V'ger, just 20 minutes of Spock going from the Enterprise through the V'ger badge.
In the spacesuit, yeah, they could have cut that whole thing out. Him in the spacesuit. Okay, it's this. Okay, planets. Ooh, regular one space station. No shit. Okay. Like Star Trek 2, Wrath-Con, everything. Everything needed to be there. It was perfect. It showed the character development. It showed, the strategy of the fight. Everything was good in that. 3, okay. I liked it. 4, I liked 4 was funny. It had the funny parts to it. And I just liked Chekhov back in the 80s, the Russian guy asking where the nuclear vessels are. I got a kick out of that. 5, a lot of that could have been edited out,
5 just did better writing.
Yeah.
Wasn't so much the editing. Like I said, I think with 5, the editing was fine. The way the movie was made, the way the film of Star Trek 5 was made on a visual standpoint, I was okay with.
I watched it and I liked it.
I was okay with the flow. But the writing of it, the dialogue was not the greatest.
Right.
And the story premise was just dull.
A little bit, yeah.
And not threatening.
6, I loved everything about 6.
6 was amazing.
The Undiscovered Country, all that stuff. I loved it. The murder mystery. And then Generation. Hey, Mistria, how are you? And I mean, even Generations I liked. You know, they tied the Next Generation.
Oh, yeah.
That one together.
Generations felt like it belonged in the Next Generation, but it also felt like a Star Trek movie.
When they killed Kirk in the very beginning, when you thought he was dead, I heard everybody in the movie theater lost their minds when I was there. They were screaming everywhere in the movie theater. And then they made First Contact, which, boom, there it was. Again, like I said, First Contact to me was everything. You look at, it's like First Contact was made with the Star Trek handbook, the Star Trek movie handbook. What made Wrath of Khan so great, aside from having good writers, what made it great? The connection it had to the original series. Right.
You know,
everything about the Star Trek.
Okay. What made Star Trek 4 great? The connection it had to real life by coming back to our time type thing. Sure. And then you go Star Trek 5, Star Trek 6. What made that great? The philosophical aspect. The idea of peace and stuff like that. It's like they took those 3 main things and put them into one movie. And we get Star Trek First Contact.
And I think it was a lot with the attention to detail they did when they made the movie. When like you watch the after thing, even right down to Chang's eyepiece, like his eye patch, even the bolts in the eyepiece had the Klingon logo engraved in them, even though you didn't see it. It was just all the detail they put into it. Insurrection, I kind of liked. It wasn't my favorite, but I liked it. It was okay.
I actually went and saw Insurrection with Bill there. If he's still in here,
I haven't seen him.
He might have left because he was getting Godzilla vs. Kong spoilers, and apparently hadn't seen it.
Oh, sorry, Bill.
But no, I actually went and watched Insurrection with Bill. So
and then,
in theaters,
Nemesis I was okay with.
I was upset with Nemesis when I walked out of the theater, but it's one of those that the more I watch, the more it grows on me. I think the problem with Nemesis is it rushed an ending for me that I didn't want.
With Data?
With the whole Next Generation crew.
Yeah.
I wanted more, and it was like, ooh, yes, I get more Next Gen Trek. Heck yeah. And it's like, yes, here's more Next Gen Trek, and it's done. You're done. Bye.
It's done, yeah.
Leave.
Riker's on the Titan with Deanna Troi now, and then
like it was
I like the way Picard picked that up, though. I like Picard picked it up.
Yes.
Picard, like after the Titan and the kids and all that stuff. And
getting Picard back sort of gave me that back. Again, this Nemesis will grow more on me, but it was just one of those things where it's like, yes, more Captain Picard Trek, more Next Gen Trek, and it's like by the end of the movie, it's like, nope, Riker's gone, Data's gone, Beverly's gone. You know,
I just the only thing I didn't like about Picard, continuing on, everything was so dark. There was not a happy thought in any of that to go with it. Starfleet was starting to suck. We had a Romulan agent as the chief of security.
Mm-hmm.
Riker and Troy had a kid that died, because of the androids.
Don't go too far because Halloween apparently hasn't finished watching Picard.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, Halloween.
And yes, Halloween, Nemesis could have used a script doctor as well, but I mean, it was written by Brent Spiner. Data wrote it.
Really?
Yeah, he was involved in he was one of the writers on that.
You think there would
the whole reason he killed Data, Spiner was a big writer with that, It could have used a script doctor. Overall, like I said, Nemesis grows on me. As a film, I enjoy it. I'm not that big of a fan with the opening, the opening Romulan dialogue, but overall,
where he kills the Romulans,
where the Romulans go, the way that they're talking and stuff, it kind of makes the Romulans feel a little more like pussies than they were throughout the entire series. But overall, again, it grows on me. My issue with it was it hurt. It hurt to the core when I left because I felt like I was done. It was like saying, "Oh, here, you want more of this lollipop?" And you get two licks off of it, and then you smash it on the ground and shatter it. Like, no, I wasn't done with that.
You get nothing. Sorry, The only problem
I love about Picard, and I've read so many articles on what you're saying. And I've talked to so many people about what you're saying when it comes to the Picard being so dark and the Romulans. And it's not Starfleet. That's not how Starfleet was. I love what they did with it because imagine where Starfleet would have been if in the events of Star Trek VI, Undiscovered Country, if Kirk had not been able to get out of prison and stop the assassinations at the summit, and allowed Starfleet then to be infiltrated like it was, where would Starfleet have gone from that point? Where we're at in Picard is we are in that scenario. We are in a scenario where some bad people were trying to wiggle their way into the top, and the good guy didn't come in and save the day.
Yeah, so they were trying to get rid of the androids, but they killed a lot of people doing it. And changed Starfleet and everything else in the Romulan relations. And yeah, there was a lot to it, but you got a lot. Oh, wait. All right, Tia. We'll see you next week.
See you later, Tia. Good night.
Love you.
I mean, I'm hoping the only problem I could see right now with Star Trek, I like it, and I like the shows, and I like the way they're doing it. I'm just hoping with all the new shows they're talking about that they still haven't done. Like they're still tossing around Section 31. The one with Janeway, Prodigy, the other animated series.
That one's already being started. They started production on it.
And it seems like they're going to push too much at once. I like how they're doing one series at a time. You'll get Picard, okay, then you'll get this, then you'll get this. And, Discovery, and then Strange New Worlds will come out. I just hope they don't overdo it. You know what I mean?
I don't see them overdoing it. I honestly am going to say this. I do not see Picard Season 3. I don't see Picard Season 3. Given the characters' cameos we've gotten in Picard Season 1, given the age of Sir Patrick Stewart, given the direction that the series was going in, I don't see a Picard Season 3. I'm perfectly okay with that. I would be fine with Season 2 tying that up and allowing for further events. With how they're doing it right now, I would be okay. Also, I'd be okay with three Trek shows running congruently. I don't count Lower Decks, and I don't count Prodigy. I'm sorry, animated Trek to me is not Trek. I know it is Trek, but Lower Decks is like watching Big Bang Theory. I put it on in the background. I don't sit there like, ooh, what's happening next? Or I got to pay attention to this. No, it's just something that happens.
I liked it. I thought it was funny. It was entertaining to me.
And Prodigy is one of those situations where it's just, I don't know. I'll wait till I see it to find out exactly what it is. I know they're bringing in some more, but
I know,
overall, it's just, again, another cartoon Trek to me. The prequel, we're getting the Pike series, which takes place in old Trek time. We've got Picard that takes place in chronological Trek.
Yeah.
After Star Trek, after Abrams' Star Trek. And then we've got Discovery taking place,
way in the future now.
Huh?
Way in the future. That was the one thing when they said 32nd century, and then season 3 was supposed to be all 32nd century. I liked it. I thought they could have did more with it than they did. See, that's what I don't like about everything streaming now. When they do a series, like, you're lucky if you get 10 to 13 episodes for a season. The Star Trek seasons used to be 23 to 26 episodes a season. Hour-long seasons, Yeah. Now it seems like they're like, okay, here. And there's no release date. Okay, we're doing this. All right, we'll do production on the next one. Oh, you'll get this one in a while.
A 10-episode season to me is a miniseries.
Yeah, it's not.
Kingdoms was a 10-episode miniseries, but I guess now it can be.
What I don't like about it. Yeah, it worked for WandaVision because it's setting up more of the movies.
And WandaVision, Falcon and Winter Soldier, those aren't multi-season shows. They're miniseries. And that's where I'm perfectly okay with it.
Right.
With me, Star Trek, like if they're going, we want to make 7 seasons of Discovery, give me 30 episodes. Because Star Trek, that's the beautiful thing about Star Trek is you get these other series like the Arrowverse, Arrow, Flash, the CW shows, the Superman and Lois show. They can have filler episodes.
Right.
They've got a big bad. They've got their formula they follow. They got a beginning and an end with big bad, and the episodes lead from point A to point B.
Right.
Star Trek wasn't big bad for a season. No. Star Trek was what's going to happen to this crew on this day.
Right.
Each episode was its own story. It wasn't until DS9 had more of a time frame of longer story arcs in the last 3 or 4 seasons of Deep Space Nine. Voyager had its entire series, run through going, it's them getting back home. But it was still what's happening on that episode. So we got a fill of a lot of different episodes. With this 10-episode thing, they're miniseries. They're movies. They're uncut movies.
Yeah, there's no filler things. There's no. I mean, how much can you develop a character in 10 to 12 episodes when you have that many characters? Like all the people on Picard, the La Sirena, you had the captain, who had a big backstory that they touched on, and that was it. The doctor who killed the boyfriend, and apparently she's coming back. She got off with it. Picard and his... I guess she was his assistant or whatever when she was in Starfleet. Chief of security and assistant, whatever she was to him.
Yeah.
She was in Starfleet. Now she's still smoking weed on the, out in the desert now because she had a problem. But apparently they're making her and 7 of 9 a couple the next season.
Yes. And Halloween, yes, I heard the torture that the cast and crew went through making those 22 to 28 episode seasons. Yes, they went through a lot of torture, but that's also why they make hundreds of thousands of dollars a season. Yeah. I mean, it was never a 9-to-5 job. It was a go in and shoot and go home, go in and shoot and go home. I mean, it's grueling. I've been to a set a few times, and there's lunch, you break for lunch. Other than that, you're being told what you do. Not Star Trek set, but a movie set. And I get it. That's why they make the money they make.
And when you're going into acting,
they're doing.
When you're going into acting and you're getting in a major series of a major franchise like that, you kind of got it in your head what it's going to be like. Movies could film 16, 18 hours a day, and then you're in for the makeup, and it's not like it's a surprise.
Yeah,
to these people of what they're going to do. I mean, I heard the first couple seasons, the uniforms, the jumpsuit hurt the guys' backs because of the spandex stretching and all that, but they change it and they work with it. But that's any season. I mean, even the Big Bang Theory, it's a half-an-hour series, 20-something episodes a season. Seinfeld, they made $1 million an episode the last couple seasons, 20-something episodes a season. It's not like
the sole reason the trend went towards shorter seasons is because of money. Streaming services, subscription services, companies that are based off subscriptions don't make as much money for it. That's why HBO seasons and Showtime series, all them were 8 to 13 episodes. Netflix series, 8 to 13 episodes.
Right.
Because they're going off of a budget that they have. They know, they'll bring in some subscribers for it, but most of the viewers they've got are already subscribing. My issue with Star Trek doing that is because, yes, it's on CBS All Access, but they still run ads. I still have to watch ads during the show.
I paid the little extra for no commercials. I don't have any commercials. Yeah.
I didn't pay the extra for the commercials because I don't see the point in paying the extra for the commercials. I'll watch the ads.
Yeah, I don't watch
money for it. They're getting money for those ads. Yeah. On top of that, I have to wait every week for it to come out. It's not like a mini series where it's like, well, no, I got to wait an entire week for that to come out. Yes. So it's like you're getting money from ads. It's not like Netflix or HBO where you don't have the option for ads. They've got enough people that are either paying more for not ads or paying for ads, which they make more money on the ones that aren't paying for ads because they get to make a ton of money on the ads.
Yeah, the advertisements. And it's not like a whole like most streaming where they'll put the whole season out all at once. Which kind of bit me in the ass on Cobra Kai because I watched the whole season the very first day it came out, and now I'm really jonesing for Cobra Kai the next season. But
at the same time, I'm going to feel that way no matter what. We got to wait. Look at Picard. We got to wait nearly 2 years for Picard.
Right.
We got it at the beginning of 2020, and we're not going to get our next season until 2022. 2022. We're going to get 2 seasons of Discovery before we get to, there's going to be 2 seasons of Discovery between season 1 and season 2 of Picard.
Yeah.
So, and like I said, and I get Picard having short episodes. Picard is not a TV series. Picard is a mini series. I don't see Picard as a TV series. It's following Picard on a specific journey that he is set upon. It doesn't have to have filler episodes. It's not talking about a ship. To say Star Trek Discovery is saying that you're making this show on this ship. So far, I've been seeing Star Trek Burnham.
Yeah, I mean, we're going on season 4 of Discovery, and honest to God, I don't know all the characters' names. Like every series of Trek we had, you had your security chief, your captain, your first officer, your chief medical officer.
I know all the names.
Yeah, you had everybody there. Now, I know Burnham and Saru, but now it's going to be Burnham is in charge. I know Tilly, Stamets, and Hugh the Doctor.
Stamets is still alive, sadly.
Huh?
Stamets is still alive, sadly.
Yeah, right.
I'm sorry. I hate that character with a passion.
And Hugh is not even the chief medical officer of the ship.
Wait, what?
The pilot.
Hugh was the chief medical officer. Why?
He's not chief medical officer, though. He's just a doctor on the ship. The chief medical officer, I forget her name already. It's a black woman.
Oh, the one that took over when he died.
No, she was there the whole time.
He was chief medical officer before that.
No, he was never chief medical officer.
I got to go back and watch him. I could have swore he was chief medical officer.
Yeah, he was just the medical officer. And it just seems like I know there's a communications guy. I mean, I love Tilly. Tilly's my favorite. Mm-hmm. But it just seems like there's a couple, like Ariam, the android woman on Discovery that went crazy and they killed her. And now they got the new girl that replaced her, but it's just the actress that was Ariam.
Yeah.
She doesn't have the stuff on now. But it just seems like it's not hitting it for me yet. It's not. It's working. It's working, and it could do better. But it's not a memorable crew yet.
It's working as a miniseries about Burnham.
Yeah,
but it's not. And people wonder. Oh, you watch DS9. Watch Deep Space Nine. There's episodes where Cisco is only in it for like maybe 5 minutes.
Because they made the other characters strong enough to carry an episode.
You know,
what I mean?
you can have an episode of Voyager where the majority, if not all the episode, is Ensign Kim and what's his name?
Neelix, Paris.
No, not Neelix. Paris. You have an entire episode where it's just them two on a shuttlecraft.
I like
the works. You see what I'm saying? Like you've got Trek has a history of that. You could have the Next Generation. You could have an entire an episode that was basically the live action pilot to the Lower Decks, the whole Wesley Crusher and his friends thing. Yeah. And then it built for that entire story arc for that one ensign to go off to, that ended up going off into the everything's my brain is frying right now.
I know the one Bajoran girl ended up dead.
Yes, the Bajoran girl's who I was talking about. She went to the Cardassian to infiltrate the Cardassian, and the Vulcan shows up in Voyager.
Yeah.
You can have episodes of all these other characters, and it's great, and you get to see that. You get to see more. Not only do you get more information about the ship as a whole, but you get to build more relationships with your B and C characters.
Right.
Discovery has allowed us to do that. The only characters we get to build relationships with in Discovery are those that Commander Burnham gets to build a relationship with. That's it. Or an entire episode of Stamets being annoying.
I have a thing for this season of Discovery. We'll have to have a watch party here on the channel. And every time Burnham cries or does something, emotional like that, we got to drink.
As long as we don't have to drink every time Stamets says something annoying.
Well, we could either way. Every time Burnham cries, Tilly curses, or Stamets is annoying, you got to drink.
Tilly can curse. Tilly can curse all she wants in that show.
She's funny. I love her to death.
Tilly is the MVP of Discovery.
Right. And, I mean, you can do an episode like that. I haven't seen it yet with Discovery, but even Enterprise did the one with Trip Tucker and Malcolm Reed on the shuttlecraft for the whole episode, trying to figure out how to get back to the ship. I couldn't imagine other than Burnham on a shuttlecraft doing that thing,
Yeah, like in Discovery, we've had plenty of Burnham outside of we've had the entire season premiere of season 3.
Mm-hmm.
Discovery wasn't even in it. It was all Burnham.
I mean, I like her character, but let's see everybody else now. It's everybody else's turn.
I love her character, but the focus, again, it's not Star Trek Discovery, it's Star Trek Burnham.
Right. I agree with that.
That's what it is. So, too much of a lightweight, I'll be hospitalized.
Who's that?
Hollow Queen.
Oh, yeah, every time Burnham cries. You know what character I liked the most on the last season of Discovery? Grudge. The cat. Book's cat. I like Grudge.
Cat.
When the cat got the ship back to Discovery, and they're trying to hail the ship, and you see the cat like this close to the screen talking. I loved it.
The Admiral.
Yeah. He's always good though in everything he does. The Mummy, everything. Yeah. He even, especially when he's talking about the apples and stuff. Oh, here we have some fruit. They're apples. They're made from shit. In the replicators, the recycled shit.
I liked him. I'm so happy they got rid of Giorgio. Spoiler alert. Sorry.
I like Giorgio. I thought she brought a little contrast to the thing. To it, I like Michelle Yeoh.
Michelle Yeoh is great, but Giorgio's story arc is just one that annoyed me. Her story arc, it was Giorgio in Discovery was like if we would have had the original series and Harry Mudd had never left.
Okay.
She could have shown up every once in a while. She could have been that pop-up type, ooh, here's Giorgio. But to have her in every single episode, to me, would be like watching the original series and have Harry Mudd pop up in every single episode.
I have to say, I liked her Mirror Universe episodes.
Oh, that
especially on this last season.
3. Oh yeah, that was amazing.
With the Guardian of Forever, and they
Yes.
actually had Captain Killy when Tilly was on there as the real Mirror Tilly. Oh, I loved it.
And that's what I was saying. Like last time when I said I would love to see a JJ verse sequel with Mirror Kirk, because they've done a decent job building up somewhat of a Mirrorverse mythos between Enterprise, Mirror, DS9, and now what Discovery has done with the Mirror Universe. They could use that to build a lot more of an idea of where Mirror Kirk is coming from mentally.
Right.
So
I mean, I like the Mirror Universe. I like the way they did it on Enterprise. The Mirror Universe episodes, their little 3 episode of the Mirror Universe there, because it wasn't even like a crossover. It was just the actual Mirror Universe episodes.
Well, I love how they it was crossover somewhat too, because not only was it bringing in the Mirror Universe from the original series, but you also got to understand what happened with the Tholian Web.
Yeah, the Defiant. That was the 5th ship. The Defiant. Yes. The original Defiant.
Yeah.
But I did like that. And Deep Space Nine's Mirror Universe, I really wasn't crazy about. I think they fell short on a couple spots.
It fell short on a couple spots, but Deep Space Nine was Deep Space Nine. They were trying to be more of the community trek.
I think they had the more darker episodes that I kind of liked. I really like Deep Space Nine. A lot more with the Klingons, I have to say with that, but I'm curious to see what they're going to do now on Discovery and what they're going to do on Strange New Worlds. Are they going to have original series Klingons? Technically, they should. The smooth forehead Klingons that they explained in Enterprise.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder where they're going to go with that. Although they didn't, because already Discovery, they had we call them the Weirdons, because I don't know what the hell those things were.
They could completely see. This is how, and this isn't how they're probably isn't going to do it in the show. But my headcanon for how the Klingons are in Discovery is due to the events of Enterprise that made the Klingons more human-like. They had been doing genetic experimentation on themselves since. And the Klingons we got in Discovery are just one group.
I realized they were like an isolated faction.
Yeah, the different factions could look different, and depending on which faction comes to power would be the ones that you would see in the ships.
But see, they had the 12 houses still, the same 12 houses. They had the House Core, who should have been smooth foreheads. But I mean, budget. You take into account budget from the 60s to now.
Yeah, but you could also have it be to where there's a genetic defect that's actually deadly in that one. So they had to go back you had to revert back to the genetic code that you were before. And then they're still working on fixing their genetics. There's different ways they could write it in there.
Yeah. I'm just hoping I think for me, and it seems petty, it wasn't so much the Klingons themselves, the uniforms they gave them, the way they white, red, all the different Klingon uniforms, and the no hair, the bald, big honking ET looking, not ET, but like they reminded me of a vicious Paul from the Alien movie Paul.
And see, this is why I go with my headcanon theory that it's genetic experimentation to get back to their genetics, is somewhat equating it to chemotherapy. A side effect of them trying to get their genetic makeup back caused baldness.
Well, they explained it in season 2 as during war times the Klingons shaved their heads, so they were bald. But they also say in Deep Space Nine Klingons are conquerors. They don't assimilate. They don't integrate. So there could be other species in the Klingon Empire that have been conquered, and now you're fighting for the Klingons. And I get that. But, oh well. We'll have to see where it goes from there.
There's different ones. I think Strange New Worlds is going to take it more canon.
I hope so.
Looking at it, it looks like it's going to go more canon track. I mean, they're still going to do their thing. They're still going to twist stuff around. But, again, I want Strange New Worlds.
I do. I'm looking forward to it.
Mainly, I want it because of the cast they've got for it.
Yeah.
In the build-up we got with Discovery.
I like the fact that
as people talk about characters in movies that don't need to be there.
Yeah.
New Worlds doesn't need to be there. I want it. It's again, I want it. I'll watch it. I hope I enjoy it. But I need as a Trekkie, I need a post-Picard Trek that is seeking out strange new life. I need that. Seeking out new life and strange civilizations. I need that. I need Trek after Picard that is expanding. I need another Voyager. I need another Next Generation.
So, not so much Discovery in the 32nd century.
I was hoping Discovery would be that in the 32nd century, but again, that's too far into the future.
Okay. You figure Voyager ended with Endgame in, say, the 25th century? So you're talking maybe 6 or 7? Or like late 25th, 26th, like maybe the next generation from Picard, like Kirk's generation, then Picard's generation, now someone else's.
Yeah, exactly. Something I wouldn't care. Like, say it happens 30 years after Picard. I'd be okay with that. 30 or 40 years. I need something in that range.
Okay.
And I need it to be like Next Generation was. I need it to be like Voyager was. I need those episodes, that just focus on a particular incident. We've come across this planet. Something happens when we came across this planet. This is how we handled it. See you next week.
Yeah.
We come across this situation. I need that. I need that kind of Trek back in my life.
Original series, Next Generation, but continued on.
Continued on, yes.
Right. Because I don't think even season 1 at all did they even really beam down to a planet to see what was going on. I think one time when they were trying to fix that communications array or whatever it was, and they beamed down to the planet and Saru kind of went batshit.
Oh, yeah.
But that was about it.
Well, no, Discovery's straight up solely been on. It's solely been an antagonistic driven show.
Right.
It's been an antagonistic driven show from the beginning, just like Picard is an antagonistic driven show.
Right.
The new Pike series, Strange New Worlds, that seems like it's going to be what I want, but I already know those worlds.
Well,
we already know what he finds. Yes, we can get some new stuff, but at the same time, it's going to be like, really?
Well, I think it's going to be more like we saw a lot of this when Kirk was there, but I think it's going to be Pike like discovering the stuff and setting it up kind of thing. Holoqueen put it perfect.
Exactly, yeah. I was just reading that.
Yeah, you need the same universe, recognizable tech, the geography, the older stuff, yeah. That's kind of what we want. Like, I think they're either going too far or I'm sick of prequels. I'm really sick of
dwelling on the past way too much.
Yeah,
definitely. I would love, I want a show where I want a Star Trek show where I'm just going to use a reference situation in here of a Star Trek episode, saying it doesn't need to be this one, but I want a Star Trek show where it can work, where the ship of the show stumbles upon something and they open up the data banks and beam it on, and it turns out to be a character from the other previous series, and it still makes sense. It's not the character, so far out of time that they couldn't get back into it.
Like
like
Relics with Scotty stuck in the transporter.
Exactly.
Okay.
We had even though Next Generation took place so far ahead of the original series, we still got McCoy, Scotty, Spock's
Sarek, his father.
Sarek, and Kirk because of Generations.
Yeah.
We still got 5 characters from the original series able to be in that show and not be completely and totally disconnected from it.
Right.
That's what, we could have that where, say it takes place 30 years after Picard and you get Admiral Kim shows up or Admiral Paris or, those things. You get an Admiral Crusher, Wesley Crusher shows up type thing. You can have those little cameos. You can have some of the same stuff happen. I mean, even though season 2 of Next Generation was so many recycled stories because of the writer's strike, but you got that whole iconic series where Data's sitting there playing with the chips. And Data's basically drunk, which is just a complete and total redo of the one where Sulu's running around with his fencing sword.
Yeah. I'd like to see the Enterprise again, but like the Enterprise F or G, and then the new crew, the new adventure, the new planets, the new this and that. Yeah. I got you completely.
Or not even do it as a new Enterprise, do it as a new Voyager.
I wouldn't mind seeing. We got a glimpse of Paris and B'Elanna Kim's daughter in the season finale of Voyager, the series finale of Voyager. Her daughter was an ensign.
Reality.
Huh? Yeah, the alternate reality, but still, have her somewhere in there. I mean, have something. You know what I mean? Anything. I would even take Riker and Troy's daughter right now, Kestra. Have her join Starfleet and see what's going on. That would be good enough, far enough ahead.
Exactly, Hello Queen. You can take the stories and build off threads that were left dangling from the other series. Exactly.
Definitely.
I'll get some here a little bit since we're done here in about 7 minutes.
You said that.
I know I said that 30 minutes ago, but we're nerds. We like talking.
One other thing.
Animal Crossing.
How many?
But and that's why so many people don't like the new Star Trek, the Abrams verse and stuff like that. I'd like to see things that I enjoy continue. I loved Star Trek Beyond. To me, it felt more Trek than Star Trek Into Darkness felt.
Yeah, I would love to see. Now that you said it, I brain farted on her name. She was one of the main characters in Star Trek Beyond. The white girl they rescued from the planet. Oh my god! Yeah. I would love to see something with her.
Mm-hmm. There's so much they could do in that, and it just seems like they've decided to fall off the face of the earth with it.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of Trek I need.
Yeah.
Right there. I'm so happy we're getting Q back. I am so happy. And I want some Next Generation Q.
Yeah.
I don't want this whole fawning over Janeway Q. I want Next Gen Q.
Well, you had Next Gen Q picking on Picard and going back and forth and like the intellectual back and forth. Then you had the DS9 Q where Cisco just popped him one in a mug, popped him right in the snot locker there, And then Janeway where he's all, okay, man, it's Janeway, He kind of mellowed out over the time there,
Yeah, being as old as Q mellowed out like that within 20 years.
Yeah, really.
Like, come on, dude. But no, I complete and totally want some Picard Q. I'm stoked for it.
Okay. For it. One thing for us nerds. How many of the new Migos have you gotten so far? Saru? What else?
I've only gotten Saru. That's the only one I've been able to find Star Trek wise. I've seen the Migos, but the only one that I saw was Saru.
Yeah, we have the new Saru.
I've got him.
Yep. And we have McCoy.
Mm-hmm.
And I did find on eBay a lot of them, I think, like we were talking, Howard, the vendors in Walmart will keep the ones that are good and put them on eBay maybe or whatever.
Well, in some of the stores, I wouldn't say Walmart specifically because I think Walmart gets theirs still through the distribution centers. But yeah, some stores that I've been to.
I know. I've heard there were exclusives at Target, so I'm going to check them out. But I've seen a lot of them on eBay already that I haven't seen anywhere else. They have the Kirk, Spock, McCoy in the dress uniforms. They have the mirror Kirk and Spock. They have Khan, like the Ricardo Montalban Khan, and they have them in the Monster Maroon movie uniforms too, Kirk and Spock.
Oh, snap.
So I've been looking, and trust me, I've exercised quite a bit of restraint lately because I'm sitting there on eBay. I'm like, we'll watch this, we'll watch this, we'll watch this, But I haven't
buying them off eBay. I'll see if I can get them in the store. I mean, I'm wanting to get into selling toys, but not in the sense that some people sell toys. I've known some people that just go out and just they'll buy up. They'll see, oh, there's a bunch, buy them all, sell them all.
Yeah.
Do you do videos on
The only thing I really liked about the McCoy, with this McCoy, as opposed to, I still have my original Migos upstairs from the 70s.
Yeah.
He's in his scrub top in this one. He's got the scrub top in it, like the short sleeve scrub top.
That's going to be a little special one for you.
Yeah, I have the original one upstairs, like the normal one. I have Kirk, Spock, Scotty, McCoy, and the Klingon. And the Romulan. I bought the Romulan. He's still in the box. But the original Romulan, the original Migo Romulan from the 70s, if you get him with the chrome hat, the chrome helmet, is worth over $1,000 it's going for online.
Yeah. I don't see myself getting that.
Well,
I'd love for it to. I'd love for it to be one of those situations where it's like, oh, hey, look at this, but then he's doing online auctions now, so even those chances are.
Yeah, I found a few at flea markets. Like we have a big one here in the summer, Columbus Market. Although I think they changed it because of the whole Columbus thing, But now it's some kind of flea market. But I've seen a couple things there, but I'm waiting. And an update for you on Philadelphia Great Philly Comic Con.
Yes.
It is supposed to be this month in April. There's no date anymore for it. It just says to be announced. The date to be announced. RetroCon is still August of this year. It's a weekend, 24th and 25th of August. They usually have a lot of good cosplayers and a lot of the old, like last time they had all the original Thundercats there, the voices of the Thundercats. They had the Transformers there. Uhura, Sulu, and Chekhov were there. They had a lot of people there. It's been getting bigger and bigger every year. Plus, they get some of the bigger cosplayers there, too. The guy who watched Heroes of Cosplay, Smoke, he's from this area, so he's usually the one, running the big event. So I'll send you that one. If I hear any more about Great Philly, if they changed it, I'll definitely let you know on that one. Because when I said the dates were gone, I was bent.
I believe there's supposed to be some one in Kansas City here and one at Cape Girardeau at some point, which I'm wanting to go to. I haven't double checked because part of me is thinking about not going to a con. Because tomorrow I get to go pick the stuff up, load it up for the auction, but that
Oh, all that Superman stuff or Batman stuff?
And Batman stuff. And
Yeah.
I'm thinking about instead of spending money on the cons, might have to save up my money for that auction because I'm really wanting that pinball machine.
When you showed me those comic books, I was dying.
That's not even that. That's a complete and total different house. That was a house in Jeff City.
Oh God.
Stack of comic books, and I'm like,
Superman number two. I'm dying.
Oh man,
I am dying.
All right, I can't wait to see. I'm excited to see what's in this stuff. Oh, I'm so excited to see it.
Yeah, you definitely have to let me know. But we won't. We won't tell Val.
You'll get pictures.
I'm gonna tell Val.
It's one of those things where it's just like, oh, I don't want to tell anybody because I want to be able to get it, but at the same time, I want my boss to make money, so I'm going to tell people.
Excuse me, what about me? You gonna tell me?
Yeah.
No.
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 Crashly said no.
All
right, guys.
How about we slide her some Hamilton merchandise?
Sold.
See?
Bribery works.
All right, guys. It's 11 o'clock where I'm at, so I know it's midnight where Rob's at. Like I said, I got to be up in about 6.5 hours, 7 hours to get the kids on the bus, and then about an hour after that, I got a 2-hour drive to go pick up a bunch of comic book stuff with my boss for auction.
You're killing me.
So,
all righty, everybody.
Call it a night, guys. Today we ran a little late. I've still got videos to put up from last week's after the live conversation, but we're gonna go ahead and cut it off here. There won't be an after the conversation live on this one because I'm tired, and we're gonna go ahead and just call it a night. So, live long and prosper, everyone. This is the way,
and we'll see you next time.
Out.
See you later.